in general, federalism is just basically a concept of a division of powers on territorial means, where you have a union level or central level, regional levels, and local levels. How that's operationalized is very different from each federal system to another. There isn't a standard model of federalism. There isn't, like some people say, oh, look at Switzerland. The US, of course, has been very influential as the oldest federation. But when we look at newer federations in which federalism mainly serves the idea of holding countries together and addressing conflicts between different groups by providing autonomy and territorial integrity at the same time, then there's very little we can actually learn from the US, for example. Each country needs to find its own path to federalism. There isn't just one perfect federal idea that we can just copy, paste, and apply, and everything will be great. Federalism is also learning by doing, and it's learning by making mistakes. And the key success story of Switzerland, for example, is the continued development of the federal system. We've had 3 constitutions, we've had several federal reforms. So they are also kind of, lively things that develop over time. And I think when we discuss this in the context of federalism discussions in Syria, then it is very important that in the context of Syria, a Syrian model of federalism is developed. So whether that means certain regions are based on ethnic criteria for Kurds, for Druze, for possibly other whites, whether it means there are other territorially based regions, for example, in central Syria, that is up to Syrians to decide, and that's up to the political discussions on the future constitutional framework of Syria. So here I think what is important is, of course, Syria and Syrian people and elites can learn from other cases. Of course, we can look at Iraq, we can look at countries like Switzerland, the US, but also countries like Bosnia, Ethiopia, Nepal, and say, what can we learn from these countries? What worked there? What were the discussions there? Are there similar discussions in our countries? And if so, what can we take away from them? And how can we implement the best system and the best framework? But ultimately, whatever comes out needs to be a Syrian solution working for the Syrian context and for the situation in Syria.